It's all the rage to talk about what we identify as these days, so here we go. Do you identify as an athletic type? You know, the person who's athletic, who just loves to get out and do physical exercise and activities just for the heck of it because they love it and they don't really care what it is as long as they are sweating, working hard. Rah, yeah, I feel good. Do. Yeah. Is that you? Are you? No, I know. I don't really identify that way either, which I know it's crazy. I run a fitness business, exercise all the time, but I don't identify that way. In fact, I think back to my 20s. I had just graduated from college. I did 0. Is this true? Yes. No, not true. I was going to say I did 0 exercise in college, but I had to walk to my classes, small campus, and I took 1/4 of ballet because I thought that would be fun. I had some previous ballet and it was required for my graduation requirements. Like, oh, I got to take a stupid PE class for my, to graduate. In high school, I didn't really do much physical activity either. I had a bike, but I really wasn't riding it in high school. That was more like my middle school as a kid. I was in a social circle in middle school where the parents I grew up with did a lot of biking and bike rides. And so that was really cool, but I didn't really think of it as exercise as a kid. I just thought of, I'm doing fun stuff with my cool friends. Yeah. But as soon as the fun went away and you go to high school and the track teacher comes up to you because they saw you in PE class trying out the high jump because you were forced to and required to because it was a PE class. And they're like, you're pretty good at the high jump. Join track. I was like, no way, man. Don't want to do that. That would be like totally, right back in the 80s. That would be like totally so much work, like a gag. And I didn't do it because I didn't want to jog. I didn't want to run. That just sounded awful. So maybe that's you too. So I'm in my 20s, graduated from college, recently married to husband number 1. I digress. And we had some friends who said, hey, why don't you get together with us and some other folks? We're going to do this cool like field day event. And it's just going to be so fun and so social. And there's like relays and 6-legged race or 3-legged race. Why did I say 6-legged race? And, all kinds of fun stuff. I panicked. I really liked these people. And they were like my new friends, and I really wanted to get together and I really wanted to hang out. But I was like, oh my gosh, I mean, I might be a skinny 20-year-old, but I don't think I could run to the mailbox without getting winded. Like, could I do this? Like, what if I started running and I started breathing hard? And so guess what I did? Guess what Lynn did? I didn't go. I made up a stupid excuse. Busy, something like that. Simply because I was afraid that friends would see me all winded like I couldn't do it. So yeah, didn't necessarily identify as myself as an athlete. Maybe that's you too. Here's the thing. You don't have to identify yourself as an athlete or really a sporty person or a fitness person or a gym rat or somebody who likes to do weights or jog or run or anything in order to get some exercise in, because we know, I know, you know, I don't even have to tell you, but here I go. I'm going to tell you anyway. Our body needs to exercise, right? Okay, my captive friends. What's the quote? You've got it memorized? Here we go. Memorize this. Yeah, some of you are already quoting it. Woohoo! My body needs exercise. My body will always need exercise. This is not negotiable. It will never change. It is science. Now, you don't have to feel like an athlete when you're doing the exercise. You don't have to be an athlete. You don't have to have any huge, massive goal. But let me just tell you a couple things that'll maybe help you feel a little bit better about what it's like to actually work when you're an ultimate beginner. In fact, ultimate restarter, ultimate try it again for the 12th time person. when we try some kind of exercise that we haven't done in forever, anything, walking to the mailbox a little bit faster than we did before, anything, our body is working hard. And there's a thing called perceived exertion. That is a really important thing to think about when you're getting back into exercise. And perceived exertion is, how hard do I feel like I am working? So I know there's this thing out there that people talk about called an easy run. I don't know what they're talking about. I've done probably 10 half marathons. I don't know, maybe 6. I should count. Shouldn't exaggerate. Lots of half marathons, 13 miles of running. One of them I actually did almost nonstop with no walking. I still don't know what an easy run is. Every run for me is a hard run. I've had a couple little quick jog, 20 seconds where I'm like, I feel great. But for the most part, there is no such thing as an easy run. My perceived exertion for running is always hard. I've done the mindset work. I've done the nutrition. I've done the tapering, the intensity training, the interval training. I've, making sure I have the right tennis shoes on, hydration, electrolytes. I've done it all. There is no such thing as an easy run for me. But that doesn't mean that my experience of this is hard is invalid. It doesn't mean that if somebody can run a 6-minute mile or a 9-minute mile, like I can't do that. Never have been able to, except I think, in high school when we were forced to in PE, maybe, not even sure then. Perceived exertion, how hard you feel like you're working, is a very, very valid thing. And when you're getting back into it and you're just beginning, this perceived exertion, how hard you're working, is super, super duper important. It's more important than any training plan, any fitness thing. If you're like, I want to go do a 5K someday, and you get these 5K plans, they're like, jog for 1 minute, walk for 30 seconds, jog for another minute, walk for 30 seconds. Okay, when you're an ultimate beginner, you got to listen to your body more than the plan on the paper, especially if you downloaded it from the internet without a coach working with you one-on-one. I digress. Think of this. If you are an athlete like I can run a 6-minute mile, I can, squat 400 pounds or even 200 pounds. I can bench press 150 pounds or more, or, your capacity to do great big work and have it feel good in the moment is real. It's there. But if you're new, if you're like me when I was 20 and I was like, I don't want to go to the potato sack race because it's going to hurt. And, or me when I was, recovering from chronic illnesses and still am, where it's like, oh my gosh, all this stuff I used to be able to do with so much ease and strength and just like, brah, look at me, I just did another 200-mile bike ride this weekend, it's so far out of reach. It's all harder. It's all harder. So think of this. When you're getting back into it, not only is your perceived exertion of this is hard completely valid and completely real, your ability to find that spot of I'm working hard and it feels good in the moment is not really there like it is for someone like an athlete. And I think that's what people are saying where they're like, I'm not the athletic type. It's that piece, and here's the words for it. When you work at capacity, when you work at the max you can, whether it's your lungs or your muscles, you don't get to work hard enough so that you can feel like you're working hard and have that joy of I feel strong. That is a huge component that keeps people coming back to exercise over and over and over again. And that's why, at Couch to Active, I'm always, always, always saying, you got to find any movement, any activity that you actually kind of enjoy, because you don't, at the beginning especially, you don't get that joy of like, oh, I just squatted 50 pounds and I feel strong. Most of us are like, I just worked hard and now I'm tired and I feel like I might be sick. Or I just worked hard and now my whole body is shaking and I need a nap. It's a really, really, really cool thing when, I had somebody, I actually wrote it down. It was such a cool thing she said. She's like, she was sick and working and going to a whole bunch of classes, but sick and trying to come to class she could, and then she'd get sick again and back and forth and all that. And then one day she said, oh my gosh, now that I'm starting to feel better, now that I'm starting to gain some strength, she's like, I understand. She says, it's such a different feeling to feel tired because I worked, did exercise, than to feel tired because I've got chronic fatigue or I feel sick. Yeah, she said, I felt like I was working hard without my body fighting me. Yeah, let me say that again, because this is really, really super important when we say I'm not the athletic type. I think this nutshells it really well. We do exercise, and every single movement of every single exercise, we feel like our body is fighting us. We're like, oh, I'm going to try kayaking. That'll be great. You get in, do a few paddles, and your arms and your lower back are like, oh God, this hurts, or you're like, I'm going to go for a walk, and you get walking and you go up a tiny incline and your lungs are like, yeah, your body is fighting you and makes it hard. So when she said this quote, I'm going to repeat it again. You ready? I felt like I was working hard without my body fighting me. That is the magic. That's the beauty. That's when folks go out and can go for a long walk or get on their cardio equipment or grab some weights or do some dancing or go into the pool, do a couple laps without feeling like they're going to drown and die. Maybe do a water aerobics class, anything, yard work, housework, cleaning your bathroom, anything where you can feel like you're working hard without your body fighting you. That's the magic. That's the magic piece. Because think about the athlete, right? When athletes train, they go, they fuel, they hydrate, they sleep well, they take good care of themselves, just like we do. We fuel, we hydrate, we take good care of ourselves, we do our best. The athlete gets on the start line, you get on the start line, and let's just imagine speed walking, just like walking fast. The athlete gets on the track, they full on start jogging and sprinting, right? Just pew, do, 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 do. This is so easy. They're going. Here I am on the track. I'm walking and I'm like, oh my gosh, like my hip is kind of hurting. Oh shoot, that plantar fasciitis on the right side. Like, oh crud, that neuropathy on my left foot. Oh, my neck. Oh yeah, I got to watch my posture, my neck. And then you're thinking all these things and you're only a quarter way down the track. You're hardly walking and you're already breathing. And this other athlete goes lap after lap after lap around you while you're working hard. The athlete's like, I'm working hard, I'm breathing. And you're going 10 times as slow and you're working hard, you're breathing, and you're in more pain. You're in more pain than the athlete. The athlete's going boom, 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 working hard. I feel great. They've got that dopamine going. They're like, yeah, exercise is awesome. And you're doing the darndest best you can, walking over here. And you're like, oh my gosh, am I going to get injured? And your body starts fighting you. And your body's like, no, this is not good. This does not feel good. Only 30 seconds has gone by. You do that for 1 minute, you stop, you compare. How hard did you work? The athlete's like, yeah, hard. That was a hard workout. How hard did you work doing your walk? Hard. I worked hard. How do you feel, Mr. or Miss Athlete? I feel awesome. I feel great. I feel energized. How do you feel? Brand new person who's just getting going and not brand new. This isn't our first rodeo, but you know what I mean. How do you feel? I feel winded. I feel tired. I feel like my foot might be hurting. I feel like I might be getting a headache. I don't know. I'm a little nauseous. This is like, and now I'm wondering what kind of a journey I have ahead of me to even get any capacity. You both worked very hard. You worked not only as hard as an athlete, your heart rate's up, you're breathing, you're sweating. You also had that added layer of that mental piece of, wow, I need to not compare myself to others. And we need to not compare ourselves to others. And that is hard work to do. You also had that added layer of your body fighting you in it. So you not only worked as hard as an athlete, you had those extra layers of your body fighting you, worrying about injury, and feeling like you are just fatigued as opposed to energized. So here's my question for you. The athlete who could run around that track, or the individual who's trying to just get back into it, who's the better human? I know, wrong question. Who is stronger? Well, mentally, physically, spiritually, I know, lots of things to think about. Who is feeling like they're working harder? It's not the athlete. It's the person trying to get back into it. So that's why if you are on your couch, and that's my metaphorical phrase for I need to start exercising more, but I'm just not there yet. But you know this exercise thing has got to become a part of your life. But it's an emotional thing. Like we've got these bad habits of saying, I can't do that. It's not me. I don't like it. I'm just fat and sick and ugly and there's no hope for me. It's super important that you recognize that negative self-talk and get all over figuring out how to get a different mindset so this can become a reality for you. Name it so you can tame it is the word I love to use. The words I love to use. See it, recognize it, and realize there is a way, there is a path, and you can get your body moving and grooving and have more energy. You don't have to ever be an athlete. You don't have to ever be the athletic type. That's most of us. We're not. But there's so much joy to be found in life. So take a moment and just imagine that future you. And imagine what you would feel like in that future you. Imagine yourself sitting tall. Imagine just sitting with your heart higher, your chest higher. And tell yourself, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old I am. It doesn't matter how many years it's been since I've exercised. I've worked with people who haven't exercised in 50 years. 50. I've worked with people who haven't worked out since the day I was born. And they are loving what they're doing now. They're loving the extra capacity of their life. This can be for you too, but you've got to get that vision. You've got to get that want to do it. And then we can help you get there. I can help you get there. Our whole team can help you get there. Alrighty, friends. That was a bit of a preaching one for today, but I don't care. We kind of needed it. Don't worry about whether or not you're the athletic type. That's the wrong question. Remind yourself you're a human being that needs to exercise. Always. It's not negotiable. It's science. If this is resonating and you're thinking, yep, it's time, but I have no idea how or where to start, or you kind of have a clue, but you want to get it going a little bit quicker, head on over to couch2active.com. Reach out to me. email, phone number, or you can just sign up for something. It's all there. We made it super easy for you to contact us. Couch2active.com. And this vision of your future self, 10 years, 20 years from now, we can make it a reality for you. And getting started is the hardest part of all.